The run with the arms, just every time I see it, it
Little,
makes me laugh.
They're little like S-shaped.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast. You didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
Yeah, you are.
Say bye to all the Felicias and hi to all the Miss Parkers.
Ooh.
Hey,
'Cause
Miss
we ain't-
Parker.
Because we ain't got work. We ain't got shit to do. So we're going to talk about the marquee topic, 1995's Friday.
You know it.
Damn!
Friday! Yeah, it's our first episode of February.
Mhm.
Which
The best month.
the rest of the country decided to give 1 month to celebrate all of the Black history, which is just American history.
Mhm.
But so what we're going to do this
Yeah.
month is just talk about the dopest, blackest things of media that we found
Some
that we
of.
can talk about.
Next year we'll do it again.
The thing is, like,
Exactly.
we can't possibly fit it even if we had all the months
No.
in the year.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we want to do on a weekly basis, and we're starting out with Friday.
Mhm.
Before we get too far into it, let's introduce the hosts.
Let's do it.
I'm Tom.
I'm Corey.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Ollie.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation, that is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks like early access to episodes, depending on the tier, ad-free episodes. You get exclusive bonus episodes, which 3 posted in the past week and a half. So
Holy
that's
cow.
dope. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. The Discord server is hopping all the time, so we really love talking
Or
to our
dang.
fans. But yeah, please check that out. nerdon.io/Patreon. But also, if you would like to further support the show, you can check out all of our affiliates. It is on nerdon.tv/partners. From Amazon to Comixology, you can shop and support us at the same time. And do know a little bit of every purchase. Wow. Does go to supporting us.
You heard it here first. Every purchase,
No.
But also, they does do.
It does support us and help us be the best podcast that we can be. That is the housekeeping.
woohoo!
Good job.
Yahoo!
So let's talk about Friday.
Let's do it.
I'm
What's
just
going on?
waiting to see who's gonna like bring it in. Okay,
It's gonna
so
be Tom. It's always Tom.
everyone,
You always do it.
I
so-
know.
Yeah.
I didn't
Every-
want to steal the thunder.
everyone here.
But everyone here knows that this is a.
I was like waiting for it. We can have some of the lightning. So if this is the first podcast of Nerd On that you've listened to or watching,
Welcome.
wherever you are, thank you
Welcome.
for checking us out. We appreciate it. But if you know us, then you know that at the end of a completed work, such as this one film, at the end of it, we must rate it. So right now we get to our first segment, which is
Guess That Grump.
Damn!
Friday. Who's gonna be the grump?
You got knocked the fuck out!
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
As the grump.
Yes, Guess That Grump is a segment of our show where we are going to go around the horn. Some cross.
Wow.
meaty
I see
Cables
this.
words.
Crusader.
And we're going to guess who's going to have the lowest rating from a 0 to 5. No matter how high it is, the lowest one in the group becomes the grump for the week. We encourage everyone at home to play along. And if you are a member of the Nerd On Nation, you get to be part and be that Guess That Grumper guesser.
Yep, that's officially
Yeah.
what it's called.
Okay.
Wow. Hey, can you come up with graphics for that?
Yeah, it's already done.
Guess
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
grumper guesser.
I've got the
Guess
vision
That
already.
Grumper guesser Gator Man.
Anyway, start us off, Tom, since you never explain it.
And I always get it wrong. I will guess that it is going to be Ollie.
Oh, the friend.
Friend.
All right, Ollie, who you got?
Let's see. My guy.
My guy.
I'm gonna go with Caitlin.
I'm the guy.
We're all guy.
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna go with Ali.
Oh,
wow.
Jacques.
Smart.
Yeah, Jacques.
Josh?
Come on,
I'm
come on,
gonna
Josh.
go.
Come on, Josh.
I'm gonna go.
I like how it's only between these two.
Well, in my brain, it's either
Could be
of
me.
them. I'm gonna go with Ollie.
Wow.
Yes, Corey,
Oh,
that is my final
Watch
answer.
it be Corey at the end.
But who
anyway.
knows? Ollie might just have nothing good to say other than the fact that it's good visuals. And then he's like, I really like it.
No, there is no Batman.
I do think it's
Well, there
Ollie.
is Black
Ollie.
Man.
You think it's Ollie?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fine.
That's
All right.
4 votes.
Do
Well,
it.
What did the Nerd On
Guess what
Nation
the way
think?
votes go
The
for it.
Nerd On Nation voted for Tom.
Well, all
that
right,
was,
Tom.
that was probably not the. Yeah.
So
Probably not
the way it's
Tom.
going to go is Josh and I will go first.
Hey.
Then it will be between Tom and Caitlin, and then Ollie last.
All right. All right.
The one that speaks most like Chris Tucker
Yeah.
yeah.
is
Damn,
voted-
shut up. So now that we get that out of the way, we go move on to the complete spoiler of that, which is our first impressions and initial reactions if you're across the pond or wherever we may be, where we're going to discuss it. So let's.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yay.
Friday. This is not my first rodeo with this movie. I watched this a long time ago. Shout out to Jolie, my dad. Showed it to me. He's the one who showed me all the Chris Tucker stuff. He's a big Chris Tucker fan. Loved
Mhm.
Rush Hour was like on in our house 24/7, especially when 2 came out. It was like his renaissance of like, oh yeah, Chris Tucker's fucking amazing. Let's
And then you watch
this
all
rolling.
of Chris Tucker stuff. Death
right.
Tent.
So this and Friday, Rush Hour and Friday were on a lot. So this I mean this is probably the reason I think Chris Tucker's fucking hilarious, and I think Ice Cube is such a talented dude.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think I've seen a Ice Cube movie that I didn't like to some extent.
Did you
I'll
not
concur.
see Triple
Triple X
Spoilers.
State of the
You know what? I
Union.
didn't see Triple X.
Did you?
The follow up.
You know
Did
what?
you also
He
say,
wasn't
Are
the-
we there yet? Part 2.
I still like him.
How dare you?
Without going into it, he wasn't the worst part of that movie.
I also didn't say I've seen all his movies. I'm saying all the ones I've seen of his. I have
Have been
loved.
great.
There
yeah.
we go.
All 2 of them.
No.
Kidding.
But yeah, I think this is such like a it reminds me and maybe I picked wrong because it reminds me of Clerks a lot.
Mhm.
And it's kind of about nothing, but about kind of just that everything at the same time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It only affects a small amount of people in these like 4 houses.
Yeah,
really,
it's like
a
that
block's
one
worth
little
of
block. Yeah.
everything, and that's kind of what I love about it. And it's kind of I think this may have sculpted some of the movies that I really love, which are all very small, concentrated stories that don't really affect outside like one household.
Mhm.
But yeah, I this is something I could put on any day.
Yeah. Easy watching.
Nice.
Caitlin.
Feel it.
Culture shock.
Culture shock.
Wow. Next.
You had no idea?
No. Well, so I grew up in like super white bread Indiana.
We can tell.
Yeah, obviously. And so
Was this your first rodeo with this movie?
very first,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
That's what I was
and-
thinking. Not to cut you off, but I was like, you guys picked the LA resident? As
Yeah.
the one that would
I
not like
as
the
I
movie?
explaining the movie, I was like,
yeah.
But anyways,
I was going
go
to say
on.
people who are touring it might actually like it more than people who have lived with it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so
But-
so a lot of this was like but there was a familiarity to it because there's a lot of similar cultural things in where I lived.
all
that
the
I
families know each
found-
other, the neighbors know each other.
Exactly.
Little small
there was, it
towny
was small town
feeling.
feel.
Mhm.
And you know, every town has a bully. Every town has that like sporadic person who's always asking for something. The loud person. You know,
I like that you called him sporadic.
I
That's very kind of you.
I'm from the Midwest. This is what we do.
They very clearly call him a crackhead in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, from the
That's not
Midwest,
me.
little bit of culture
Can't catch a
shock.
crackhead.
yeah.
But it was like it was really fun to experience that. Like it
Through
was
this
just
lens?
a very through this lens. It was very different, and I very much felt out of my element, but also at home at the same time. So it was like a weird,
It's kind of like you're coming over for the cookout.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Yeah.
it's welcoming, but also it's like you're experiencing something new.
I dig it.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
out for a
Very
cookout.
good.
So I saw this way back in the day.
Was this
I don't
Hollywood
think-
Video Day?
No. This
Okay.
is like because it came
Blockbuster
out in
day.
1995, and how dare you?
You were
came out
already
in
30 by then.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
saw it
I
in
was
theaters
10
with your kids.
Wait, so this is PB or BP before Paddington.
Yeah, definitely. So I saw it back in the day, and I remember loving it because it's a silly comedy. It is about nothing, but it is about something. But it's random moments of silliness
Mhm.
and a lot of improv, which I dig. And it's the thing is too is that I really love movies that are about kind of there's really no simple way to say this, kind of about the hood, South Central. Like I love Boys in the Hood. I love Menace to Society, South Central,
Mm.
Higher Learning. The thing about this movie is that I love that it's a whole different viewpoint because
Both Ice
those
Cube and
movies were
Regina King.
Huh?
So they're both both Ice Cube and Regina King.
Yeah, but those movies were so intense that it was nice.
A little bit
that
more
this
about the
was-
crime stuff.
And this was what I liked about reading and doing research about this is Ice Cube was like, you have all of these intense movies and nobody's showing that. Yeah, we had like, it was rough where we live, but we tried to have a good time.
Yeah.
We tried to make light of it. And we, there are those, it was just, I really dug it.
Those little moments
yeah,
in
there's,
between that they
yeah,
write and show about, like
yeah.
your day to day. It's just a little slice of life.
Exactly. And I think
Friday anime.
watching it nowadays, there are some things that I'm like, okay, that didn't age the same for me personally, but watching it again, I was like, yeah, I get it.
There's some things in there that are definitely a product of the time.
Yeah,
but that's
definitely.
also kind of what it was
Kind of
supposed
the-
to be.
yeah,
It's almost
exactly.
like
Beauty
a
of it.
I think if I'm not mistaken, and
Well, this
someone
is
out there correct me, I believe even the house that it was filmed at is a historical landmark now because of the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of the cultural relevance.
I mean,
of the
this is
film.
also BT before Twitter,
Yeah.
where everyone just tattled on each other.
I mean, and the cool thing about it is it was such a passion project for everybody. It's in their kind of their home
It's the
neighborhoods.
house that the director grew up in.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
it,
The
it
one
was a lot
where
of
the bike scene where
Yeah,
he
yeah,
punches Red, knocks
Yeah.
him out. That's the house that the director grew up in.
it's a lot of really like guerrilla filmmaking. Like
It was
Yeah.
like
all the
dawn
houses
of
they used were friends.
it was like the dawn of the digital age, kind of. So like a lot of digital filmmakers wanted to really use like film cameras, but then also like having digital cameras allowed them to move in smaller spaces. So you'll hear like Michael Mann and stuff like that, but really a lot of it came to like bringing cameras into houses, so you didn't have to like clear off whole like streets
Build
and
a
stuff
new
like
set.
that.
Or build a set. Yeah.
Yeah, or use sound stages. So yeah, you just brought them into a house.
Yeah.
That works.
Ollie?
This actually, funny enough, I saw it next Friday first before this. I think it was an age thing or something, like I couldn't see like that being 10 years old or whatever
Or
at the time.
Simpsons.
No
Or
Smokey.
Simpsons.
That was 2000.
What? The next Friday.
Friday.
So that makes more sense for me
You
to
were
have
like at
seen
least
that first.
20, right?
And then, which I loved, great movie. And then I discovered Friday, and like I find it to be a far superior film.
Yeah.
well,
I just think Chris Tucker just works so much better.
They're dynamic
Like
together.
they're dynamic.
yeah.
But it's just it's such a great, honest and genuine movie, and it's very relaxed. It doesn't have nobody's saving the world. It's just two people living, just like you were saying.
Mhm.
Very strong comparisons to Clerks, and just kind of day in the life of like Clerks is just two nerds like
Yeah.
geeking out about Star Wars. This is the same thing, just for like different audience,
Whatever their
different kind of
passion is,
culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny watching it like more recently. I could relate to like more of what they're talking about and stuff like that, which is funny. And then like, yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
From beginning to end.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Tom?
So I watched this like while when I was like a youth, an adolescent,
When you were
a
like 3 years
juvenile.
old.
Youth.
1995. It would have been. I was 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I watched it like later on. It's a USA rerun. And
Sounds right.
and I absolutely love it because to me that's where a lot of the playground conversations came from. So like saying yes, just like that, or saying damn, saying like you got knocked the fuck
You
out,
got-
like all that shit like came from
Bye,
this movie.
Felicia.
Yeah. Bye Felicia though, actually I feel like has gotten such a huge renaissance like in
It
the
was like in the
Yes.
Yeah.
after 2010,
Yeah.
2012 in that
Meme
span.
culture.
yeah.
I
Because
had no
I
idea where that was coming from.
'cause
When
I
came back,
forgot-
I was like, who's Felicia?
I forgot that reference, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's what I'm talking about. Why is that coming up?" Like, and then
Yeah.
I realized I think it probably came back because like the next movies.
Yeah.
The
actor that played, I was reading the actor that played Felicia started getting like royalty checks, and she was like, "Why?"
hell yeah.
And then it's because of this.
Nice.
I mean, just meme culture. It can
Yeah.
it can reawaken
yeah.
the love for something.
Yeah, when I watched it, to me this was like a very normal film. Like amongst the Schwarzenegger and Stallone stuff, like I guess like I've always like tried to watch a lot of black culture stuff, and not even like actively trying, but it's like I never watched like Full House, I never watched Step by Step. I watched like Family Matters and Fresh Prince, and so like where I got comedy was from that culture. And then me being like someone that always kind of like, visited, but then like I grew up around a bunch of Asian people, so I never grew up around like a lot of black kids. But then moving to Sacramento, then meeting more black kids and stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then like we all had similar references. It was kind of this nice thing of like we always kind of come back to this.
Mhm.
So going from a filmmaker standpoint or film standpoint, I like really appreciate what this was trying to do at the time of, especially during the early, like technically earlier 90s, and how it kind of gave light to a genre of films that wasn't purely blaxploitation, but it was more about, again, like slice of life. But like, I was actually talking to a friend who is a Black filmmaker. Shout out to Max. And he was talking about like, I'm getting kind of tired of seeing films about Black struggle. And he's like, I like to see just a normal Black person.
Normal, yeah.
And it was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of like that. I mean, like you had Spike Lee back in the day as well, and John Singleton doing their thing.
Mhm.
But this film kind of asked to be like, we can just normalize, American culture.
But
too.
also, like the other thing that it shows is family.
Mhm.
Like a lot of those
Yeah.
films of the early '90s that were about this area, it was single moms, single dads, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And it was like, no, there are families that have mom, dad, like they're full and they work and everything's good. Like
Not
you don't
everything
have to
has
just
to be
show the
riddled in
Right.
trauma and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I enjoy it as like a film that I would kind of just watch as like a good time passer and stuff like that. Put it on with a bunch of friends, stuff like that. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Cool. So that gives everyone an idea what the ratings might be. I don't know if that actually
Maybe.
cleared anything up.
It didn't.
Probably not at
But
all.
we got to move on to our next two segments, which are going to be our brief synopsis and our production. Then we'll move on to the meat and potatoes. So, brief synopsis. Who is join me, please?
Yeah.
So it starts out with Craig and Smokey, who wake up on a regular Friday. But we find out that Craig, who had gotten fired because security cameras of his job caught him stealing
In
some
boxes.
boxes. And so the running joke is like, how did you get fired on your day off? You must be some kind of stupid to do that. And so
If you watch at the beginning of the film, there's someone walking away with a ton of boxes, meaning
it's running. Yeah,
that's
the guy.
that's the guy.
And
they caught.
Megan Good is the one that says, oh, he was doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so we started this morning and we kind of see a view of Craig's life between his sister Dana and his mom and his dad. And they both know like he needs a job and how just getting something as benign as cereal is very difficult to do. It's a very realistic, grounded take at kind of just life. Life is hard to have.
Yeah.
And so everyone goes off to work, but then Smokey says, "Hey, let's go out, let's chill, let's smoke on the porch because you ain't got shit to do, ain't got no job, and so
It's Friday.
I'm gonna get you high as hell."
Craig doesn't smoke.
Craig doesn't smoke. He's the straight man. He's the Dean Martin to the Jerry Lewis.
You
It's
find
the
out
Odd Couple.
Yes.
Smokey is sells weed
Yes.
for a guy named
Big Worm.
Big Worm. Yeah.
Worm.
I was gonna say Big Snake, big
Big Worm.
whatever you call him.
Big Perm. I mean, Big
Yeah.
Worm.
Big Worm. And lo and behold, Smokey is dipping into the reservoir of weed that he should be selling, testing his own product.
And so
Um,
the ticking time bomb is that by 10 o'clock, not 10:03, not 10:36, but 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
Smokey has to have $200. And at the onset, Craig has his girlfriend that he isn't really into, but he also wants Dana to hook him up with his friend, with
Debbie.
her friend, Debbie. Yeah, that's the friend. And so hilarity will ensue based on the elements of the neighborhood
characters,
bully.
yeah.
Well, the neighborhood bully Deebo, who
Uh-huh.
just steals everyone's stuff and rides a rickety ass bike
That he
That is
stole
also
That he stole.
stolen.
that is stolen.
from Red.
Yeah. And just the hilarity that ensues from there, going to a liquor store to pick up cigarettes for Smokey's mom, to hiding your valuables from Deebo, to actually at the very end, climax is when Deebo is
Hitting women
hitting women and has beat up Felicia
and then hits Debbie.
and then hits Debbie, and then
Craig.
Craig has to fight like a man, put his dukes up, put
First
the
he
gun
pulls out a
away.
gun,
Yeah.
which his dad tells him, he's like, it's not what we wanted when we moved here. And he puts up his hands. He says, this is all you need.
This is how you be a
Mhm.
man. He's like,
Sometimes you'll get hit down.
sometimes
Yeah.
you'll lose, but you
you'll
fight
live
next to
let's
Yeah.
fight another day.
So he puts the gun
So-
down. They fight.
They fight, and they both fight dirty, which is great.
Yeah.
And then Deebo gets knocked out at the end, and then the titular line, "You got knocked the fuck out," happens, and Smokey takes $200, and we're all safe and clear.
And Red takes his grandma's chain back. Grandma gave me this.
Craig then
And his bike.
sets up a
his
little
bike.
morning breakfast with Debbie,
Mhm.
and then Smokey's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna do all right. I'm gonna go to rehab." And then
Fourth wall.
This is the second fourth wall break, and
Craig has the first
one, and then he says, "Nah, I'm just playing."
You know I'm playing.
Yeah.
You know.
I
And
was just bullshitting.
yeah. So yeah.
And you know this, man.
So at the end of the day,
So good.
have they learned something? Maybe not, but have they changed? Yes, they have.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was
Cool.
about like 20
That
seconds.
was about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Anyway, as
Jesus.
always, nerd on.
So let's get into the production.
Production. This was distributed by New Line Cinema, who has also distributed things such as The Mask, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Lord of the Rings.
Is that OG Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Yeah.
The OGs.
89.
Mhm.
The directors, F. Gary Gray, who did The Italian Job, The Negotiators, Straight Outta Compton. And then for the producer, we have Patricia Charbonnet, who did Dangerous Ground and The Players Club. The writers are Ice Cube, who was in All About wrote All About the Benjamins, The Players Club, The Janky Promoters, and DJ Pooh, who did Three Strikes, Grow House, In the Flow with Affy and Crockett. And then our cast is Ice Cube, who's in Boys in the Hood, 21 Jump Street, and Anaconda. Chris Tucker, who's in Rush Hour,
Oh, wow, yeah.
Money
Mhm.
Talks, and The Fifth Element. Nia Long. Nia Long, who was in Big Mama's House, Keanu, The Best Man. Tiny Zeus Lister Jr. from Little Nicky, The Dark Knight, The Human Centipede 3.
Here it comes.
Regina King from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Time of our Lord.
Cinderella Story and Ray. Anna Maria Horsford. Hopefully I said that correctly. One Fine Day. How High Minority Report. Bernie Mac from Bernie Mac Show. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle.
R.I.P..
Ocean's 11. And then we have John Witherspoon from
R.I.P..
Little Man, Soul Plane, and The Boondocks. The release date is April 26th, 1995. The runtime is 91 minutes. It took $3.5 million to make and grossed $28.2 million. The Rotten Tomato
good.
score is 78% for the critics and 91% for the audience. So
Earn those
Audience
sequels.
loved it.
audience
Yeah.
loved it. Critics were like,
Same thing with Clerks.
Well, and there's a funny thing. So I actually recently listened to one of the head writers for Rotten Tomatoes, and they actually do this thing where they have a podcast
Oh,
as
yeah.
well as articles that they say like it's a rewind review, and then they realize like, oh, we actually didn't understand its brilliance
Mm.
at the time. I was like, yeah, motherfuckers ain't woke. So
Wow.
I get it, but also that's why. Again, I don't trust critics
Well,
with every review.
It's so interesting to look back on things that, like, even looking back at things that maybe you liked or things that you didn't like, and to look at it with a different lens, different all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, and go, wow,
Oh, this means something different.
yeah, this
yeah,
is because you start to get deeper context. You start to see like this movie is actually incredibly important for Black cinema,
Yes.
and being able to look back and go, wow, the importance of it, and then it's like, oh, this is what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that changes, in all honesty, that changes the lens by which sometimes your rating is based on.
Mhm.
Of like, oh, well, that being said,
Yeah. Right.
So now we'll move on to the meat and potatoes, where we get to talk about favorite parts, favorite characters, and then our qualms, and then finally rating.
The
So
milk and cereal.
yes,
It's one of my first favorite parts in the whole movie.
milk and
Yep.
syrup.
Just that I like
That
killed
feel.
me.
But
That
put
feel
some water. It won't hurt.
that.
Man.
Yes, that is
Yes.
something my dad
Is it
did.
real
I,
life?
yeah, I grew up on that shit.
My
Wow.
dad did that.
Fucking water.
Never.
Shout out to Jolie.
that never happened in my household.
Must be
You were
fucking
never out of
nice.
milk?
It really was nice. Yeah.
No, we were.
Privileged.
We were ran out of milk, but I wouldn't do water,
Oh,
and so it would just be no cereal.
I would, because then my dad would be like, "Look, fat-free milk."
Oh,
No, my dad would be like, "You got to go to school. You gonna eat that or not?" And I was like, "All right."
You're right.
and the struggle because he's so excited.
He's so excited
So-
for that
Oh.
milk.
And not just the milk,
I
but
mean, the cereal, yeah.
The cereal. He was like, yes.
when I saw
The
him
huge
pour
bowl.
the whole box, I was like, live your best life.
Yeah.
I
Do
actually,
it.
I know some people that's
And then the dad
That's
coming
how
up
they-
and being like, "You're always in the fridge. Always." And he,
Every
as
time
he's
I'm
eating,
in here, you in here.
he's eating. He's
In the
eating
fridge.
through the whole film.
Yeah.
He's eating food. By the way.
That's true.
Except
Yeah.
when he's on the
Finger.
toilet.
Yeah.
But I will say this as well. Like when Ice Cube in that moment where he finds out that there's no milk in his carton, slams that shit and it like breaks glass and the sounding. Like, my God, I was like, that is like made out of wood.
Yeah.
I was like, but like that captured how angry that can be.
Yeah.
You know, like how,
How
you know,
infuriating.
yeah, like
How angry it can be.
how
or
angry the box can be.
Yeah. I was like,
yes, yeah.
Um,
My
Box is
favorite.
like, "I'm milk."
I was like,
I'm
Josh,
so angry.
Josh, don't steal it. Don't steal it from me. But go on.
So much pressure. I would say one of my favorite spots is when Deebo comes and it's Red, Smokey, and Craig, and they're all standing there, and it's their
Oh,
reactions
it's after he
of
got
when,
punched.
after he got punched, and it's their reactions when like Deebo looks away or like no.
Oh, he's like, you're gonna watch me go to this spot, and he's like, and then Smokey's like,
yeah,
yelling
like
at him?
behind him, and just like No. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
fine.
when they're gonna break into the neighbor's house?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a few moments where
But-
Deebo is around and they're
also-
trying to act cool
Yeah.
behind him, but they're like, no.
But also when Red's like, "Come on, man, I would have helped you out," and he walks out with his arms
Yeah,
full
the
of
run.
dangly.
Yes.
The run, and he's like, "You didn't help me out last week. It was different."
My absolute favorite part, and I think this is the overall like what the film is about.
Mhm.
Is the story between the dad and Craig,
Mm.
and
Oh,
when
yeah.
he pulls out the gun.
Yep.
And when John Witherspoon,
Yes,
Mhm.
John Witherspoon,
when he passed away,
which was
was it
only a few months ago.
a few months ago, from the time
September
we
of
recorded this,
2019.
that clip played all over Twitter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I absolutely was there for it. And I thought that was such a wonderful message at that time and also at this time.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so
Mhm.
cool because it's just talking about like, do you think a gun makes you a man? And it's like, no, I'm a man without it. And it's kind of like having that talk of, and that's the thing about male masculinity, right? And it's like, it's such like a, honestly, I hate to say it without sounding like I have an agenda. It's such a fragile thing. And it's so interesting that like the reinforcement of the father talking to his son about like I would never bring you into a place thinking that you couldn't be safe. And so what you guys need to learn how to do is learn how to fight for yourselves and not be cowards about it. And I thought that was so good, especially for me as a kid growing up that way, because like as you might have listened on this episode or other episodes, there's a lot of chaos and anger in my body. And
What?
Can't confirm.
Tom?
and it's not
No.
about like killing people. It's about like duking it out. It's about fighting for what is right. And so like in film language, like Deebo's argument is that he can do whatever he wants. And then Craig's argument is that you can't do that to like women. You shouldn't put hands on a woman and you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
And so there is the fight like, no, well, might is right. And then Craig's argument is like, well, when might is right, then I got to do everything to get the upper hand. And so it's like those kind of things where it's like in film literacy, you read those things, and that's how any fight scene typically goes. And see, even though it's not choreographed like a John Wick or anything like that, it still plays in the same beats of normal action films where it's like, you know, the hero gets the upper hand, the villain counter argues it, and then the hero then counter argues back, and then the villain can no longer fight back against that argument.
Mhm.
And so I think it's really well done, especially in this grounded sense. And you have the entire community watching. And like to me, that brought me into why I'm wearing this shirt right now. It's a Dragon Ball Z shirt because that happens all the fucking time where all the squads out there watching their boy getting beat up and they're like, why don't y'all just jump him? It's like, no, this is his fight. And it's like, I get that. And I super like, I connected those dots.
I do want to say though, if I ever get in a fight, y'all get in.
Get in.
Yeah.
Don't just go, it's his fight, because no.
I will say this.
I'll take the
I'll
help.
break it up and I'll be like, if you do it again, now your fight's with me.
Okay.
And then
sure.
I'll be like,
hey,
oh,
but then I'll
dang.
say, no one helped me out. I'll get my ass whipped on
Papa
my own
Tom.
accord.
No, we'll help you. We'll help you.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah,
Oh,
the
we-
dad and Craig moment I think is
Mhm,
wonderful.
Yeah.
I really loved this. Was just like a funny little nugget to me, but like the mom coming out of the or getting into her car,
Oh,
being
looking
like,
at Miss
"Hi,
Park.
Miss Parker,"
Oh,
and
the
then like,
fakeness of
oh,
the-
the fakeness, and her being
Yeah.
like, "She should be ashamed coming out like that,"
I don't.
and then
Go ahead.
like being like, yeah, no."
What's she doing out there looking like a fool? And all like, but I think the thing is, like, it's rough because I was like, did this help the cattiness that women have typically, or did this just capture of it? Right?
I
Mhm.
think it captured more
Yeah.
than like hint. Like it's such an extreme
Yeah.
that I don't feel that it was like, oh, this is like ruining
I-
things.
And that's the funny thing where it's kind of like everyone's always got some shit to say. Oh, and that's
how do you mean?
like Smokey throughout the entire film, Smokey's just telling these stories like, man, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, da da da. And it's like, oh, this one time this happened. It's like everyone has something to say about somebody else. And that's kind of the thing about like the small town community thing, where it's like everyone knows about everybody's business and everyone has their own thoughts about each other. Like they know that guy from or that Miss Parker from across the street is
Mhm.
kind of a,
You know?
promiscuous woman. So
Yeah. What I was gonna say, kind of jumping on that from the culture shock aspect was I'm Midwest, so like saying sporadic instead of crackhead, like what was so much of a culture shock for me was that like
How much on
everyone,
Front Street it was.
like yeah, everyone was being so blunt
Mhm.
about everything,
Mhm.
and like all the emotions were right out front. Like you can not like it, that's fine, but where I come from,
You just keep it inside.
you keep it
You
like
don't
just-
say it
and then one
outwardly.
day
you
you
bury
die.
it deep down inside, and then you die, and then people figure out what you were mad about.
Ah,
Like that's how it goes. Passive
Irish guilt.
aggressive, super
Um,
passive aggressive.
But then if you see Debbie's character, like when Smokey's all mad, he's like, man, why hook me up with Janet Jackson? You know, like that. And it's like, she's not fat, she's big bone. And then like that, I think that became a thing. And also it's like, she said she looked like Janet Jackson.
Oh, she didn't go
She
there.
did
goes-
not.
I
And so those are the
know.
things where it's kind of like, it's out there, but and it's accepted and it's also protected.
Right.
You know, like, and that's the thing about Debbie, where she kind of shows like there is a soft gentleness to it as well, but also like there's some bluntness where it's like I'm just gonna call it straight how it is, and they're like, hey, look, I'm not here to like say that was a lie, but also that's my friend still, you know. So
Yeah.
I like that there is no real feelings hurt about it.
Yeah.
I love also that Miss Parker is watering a lawn that only has one flower.
One.
Yeah,
The rest
What
of
is-
it is dead.
What is it? Yeah, Smokey's. She know what she's doing, man.
Yeah,
she knows
she
what
knows
she's
And those
doing.
little shorts.
My absolute favorite line from the movie is, "Why the fuck you stealing boxes? You trying to build a clubhouse?"
Yeah.
Just cracked me up so much.
Ollie?
Ollie?
Mine, I think one of my favorite is just John Witherspoon. Pretty much anything John Witherspoon did, like any
Yeah.
of his lines, absolutely hilarious. But one of my favorites is just him coming to the door with a massive sandwich in his hand,
And he's
like,
literally eating
and
out of
he's
Out
it.
of
eating
the
out of it.
inside, picking
While
out
saying-
and like licking his fingers
Apparently,
every time.
y'all never had a big ass sandwich like that.
I have. You eat it slow. And
Or
not-
you eat it
No.
however the fuck
No,
you
you
want
eat
in
it
your
how
own
you-
damn
it's
house.
your
It was
sandwich.
just-
It was just funny
Exactly.
while he was
Oh,
eating it,
I've done that multiple times.
while denying him access to go use the bathroom. I just found that
The
to be-
one or two?
It's like, there's only one person doing number two is gonna be me.
Slam.
And we know that for a fact. The toilet scene.
Oh, I mean, that's
All of that.
You mean the pooping scene?
like I change your diapers for whatever. and
Yes.
You,
Oh.
can stay
That's
there
why
for
you
5
said it
minutes.
Oh,
For 22 years.
Yeah.
My mom once.
You can
Yeah.
smell it for 5 minutes.
I mean, pretty much anything Smokey did. I know a lot of
Yeah.
it was improvised by Chris Tucker, but
Man.
I'm such a big fan of his that
Yeah.
like seeing this and the first Rush Hour are like prime Chris Tucker on
The-
top of his A game. Like,
The funny thing for me, I don't like, and that's the thing, it's improvised, and I don't think it was Chris Tucker just being Chris Tucker. And I think it was Chris
No.
Tucker
No.
thinking of someone that he knew.
Oh,
and
for
being
sure.
That person.
but you
And
know
that's
what I
what I
mean?
really liked
Like
about
it all hits, it all lands. There wasn't a single. I don't think there was a single joke he made that I wasn't like,
yeah.
missed the mark on that one.
I was gonna say it also is reminiscent of Ruby Rod. Very
Well,
Ruby Rod.
Yeah.
the
Come
end,
on, my man.
you quoted it perfectly. What he says at the very end. Say it. Recite
Oh,
it.
I
Or did you
literally
write it down?
wrote it down.
Oh, you wrote
because
it down?
I was like so entertained
You
by
have the
it.
perfect. You have the line.
He says,
right.
I was just bullshitting. And you know
This
this,
man.
man.
It's just the delivery is so classic Chris Tucker, and
Yeah.
it's like it has a lot of that Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
And,
But also that scene
Ruby Rod.
where
Ruby Rod.
when
Not Batwoman.
when Craig's like, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically telling Smokey to get his shit together, and like the scene does take a serious note, and like watching Chris Tucker's face, like I was like, wow,
yeah.
you know, I have a great respect for good comedic actors that
Mhm.
can
get
go back
serious.
and forth. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Ice
So
Cube
good.
to Smokey.
Yeah,
where
when he's like,
it's
all you do
is
is just-
play. It's like that's the thing. It's like no one's playing but you. Yeah, that's a good dope part.
yeah.
I also liked them hiding literally everything anytime Deebo came around.
Yeah, but then also it's like playing the fucking like Bulk and Skull boom 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 like bat bully
little-
music.
Yeah.
It's like
Of the- of the bike.
like
and
when
his
he
shoes
comes
aren't
up.
fully on.
Yeah.
They're just kind of
'Cause they're
like
not his.
yeah.
I love
I also loved the I mean, shout out to Michael Clark Duncan
it. Mm.
in the scene. This was his first movie role. Also,
I think
R.I.P.
it was a lot of people, their first movie.
I know, but I mean that's a big one for me.
He's actually
Michael
not
Clark
even like
Duncan,
quote unquote credited.
He's not
the
even in
film.
it.
Oh.
He's just in the background during the bike scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
He doesn't have
okay.
any lines, nothing, and he's only on camera for half a second. But then he went on to be in Green Mile and
Mhm.
one of my favorites, Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So like,
Hell yeah.
when I saw that, I hadn't like being of age. Like I haven't watched this in probably like 7-8 years.
Mhm.
I just didn't remember him being in it. And then when I saw it clocked in the background, I was like, oh shit, that's huge. And I looked it up, and they're like, yeah, his first film role. And I was like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
His masterpiece, Daredevil.
Yeah,
When Red
yeah, right.
when they're asking him about because he got punched, you know, how is it? And he's
Damn.
like,
It
it's
is.
fine, it's fine. And he takes it off, and it's just like so bad. And,
Oh.
and it coins
Dang.
the
meme, the GIF of all of them. Just yeah, that one
That
everywhere.
the way it's choreographed, the camera movement, everything on that is absolutely fantastic. I'm all about. I love when directors do a dynamic movement with the camera as well as movement with their actors. I think it looks, especially, I mean, specifically for comedic effect. I think it's wonderful. Friends does it a lot all the time,
Mhm.
and I think this is one of those examples where it just works.
There's another
Yeah.
good move like that too when Craig has to watch the front because Deebo and Smokey are going to
Yeah.
steal
He
stuff.
gets
Oh, yeah.
distracted.
And then there's this nice shot where it just like goes onto him and then it pulls out and it turns into a profile.
Yeah.
I was gonna say as well too with directorial as well as like cinematography and like actual gaffing and lighting too. Just how the house looks like in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that they shoot toward or against the light.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, man, they really had to make sure their shadows are good.
Mm-hmm.
To make it feel like this is that hot summer feel, but also like they're walking and no real shadows hit a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't use any like shadow stuff until they actually have to use it. So I was really just happy like indoor house stuff looked like very
It's very hard to light.
well, it's like well saturated because the thing is like I'm really starting to hate muted colors when I watch films, and that's why like I really like Spike Lee and John Singleton as well as like F. Gary Gray with like their colors when they're films because like it feels so alive.
Yeah.
Mm.
It doesn't, and that's the thing where like you should use muted colors for like crime dramas,
Mhm.
not for like fantastic things which tend to happen all the time.
What are you gonna do?
Be mad about it.
That helps.
So
That's his answer to everything.
Yeah.
Just be mad about it.
Ah,
But I will give a shout out to Red. That's the other writer of the film.
Yeah, DJ
Which
Pro.
I think is just fantastic. Getting a bunch of scenes with the three of them together. I think they also have a great dynamic. The scene where he's asking for his bike back
Oh.
is so I know he's not really an actor. He kind of wrote it and put himself in it, but he nailed that little heartbreak and
He
like,
did.
man, I made a mistake.
It's both
it's
of
both
our
our
bikes.
bikes. You just keep it here.
Let's keep it my house. Or,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was originally going to be Smokey. And
Was
the
he? Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
The studio was like,
Yeah.
no.
Which I mean, I love him, but I agree with the studio on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, no,
That-
of course.
Chris Tucker and
'Cause they
Ice
wanted like a
Cube's
bigger name at
dynamic
the
is-
time, and
Yeah, it's like
their chemistry is so, which is why I like the other films quite as much. I love the other Friday films, and I think the next Fridays are fantastically written.
you know
Film.
they're making last Friday.
Are they? I'm into it.
It's announced last
But
Friday.
there is, and they
Hmm.
mentioned Smokey a lot in Next Friday. The whole reason that Chris Tucker doesn't show up is that he became a born again Christian and decided it wasn't within what he wanted to do and decided to focus on the Rush Hour films
Oh.
instead. So he didn't come back for Next Friday. But I think that their chemistry in this is just like unmatched in all the
Yeah.
other ones. It's that little, if they had switched out either one of the people in Clerks, it wouldn't quite be the same.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing where
They're
it's
about
like Smokey is the funny man, and then Ice Cube is the straight
They're
man.
both. I mean, when Craig is
High.
high as fuck,
Well, and that's the kind of fun thing where
and he's looking at the dog. He's like, "Am I
it
tripping
flips
right now?"
because Smokey's like, "Damn, I shouldn't give him that chronic." You know? It's
Yeah.
like- and he's just mad about it. And he's like, "You like stop messing around." It's like I could hear my
You
heart.
hear that? And he's
You
like, "It's
hear
just
it?
the crank, man. It's just the cranks."
Yeah.
He wanted a
When
little.
he gets up quickly and runs inside, that made me laugh so hard because I've known so many people who, when they're high, do that kind of shit. Where you'll be sitting there chilling, and all of a sudden they'll stand up so quick, and everyone goes like, "Whoa, hey!" And they're like, "I just got to check on something," and you're like, "Okay, man, yeah."
I've never had like a bad weed freak out like that, and I'm just like,
Oh,
really,
I
like,
have.
you're
oh,
missing
shit.
out.
Yeah,
No,
so now-
apparently not.
You're not missing out. I mean,
No.
it's less about it's less about a freak out and more about how people handle. Like there'll be things where like I
Well,
have other
it's not
friends
with,
who
it's not with Angel Dust for sure.
right. Well, I've had other friends when they get stoned, they're just better at things.
Mm.
But there's other people who are super paranoid about that forgetting things. Like I have friends who constantly check if they here's an example. I was drinking with some friends one night. One of them was stoned off their rocker, and I put a pizza in the oven. I closed the oven. They watched me close the oven. We walked back to the couch, sat for a minute and a half, and he went, "How long has the pizza been in there?" And I was like 30, 40 seconds. He's like, No, dude, it's been like 20, 30 minutes. And he ran in there, did that thing, checked on it. He's like, "It's still cold." And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's been fucking 2 minutes. I have this. Chill." So it just depends on who you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
It also
Here.
depends.
I
yeah.
can also say I've had my moments as well.
I mean,
so
yeah, that's what happens when you smoke outdo versus indo.
oh yeah,
to
smells like out though.
to your point, take this mindfuck. They almost recast Jay from Jay and Silent Bob with Seth Green from Mallrats
Whoa.
because it was
Whoa.
Universal. It was a different studio, and they weren't sure about it would carry. It was the same kind of thing
Right.
where the studio wanted to intervene and be like, "No, we need an
A-lister.
actor,
Yeah.
not even an A-lister. I don't think Seth Green was even an A-list at the
He
time.
was
but,
big at that time.
But we need a
Then-
bigger actor.
but yeah, we need a
Because
bigger
Chris
actor.
Tucker wasn't A-list either.
They're like,
Yeah.
we'll let you have 1 day of shooting, and based on the dailies, they decided to
Keep it.
keep it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. Good
That
choice.
is not the same with Seth Green. I
Wow.
love
Yeah.
Seth Green, but no.
Yeah.
One thing I do really like that the film plays with is I don't think it really talks about it in like a dialogue form, but it portrays it in a way is the male gaze, and it's like everything out on these streets is up for like a show, like women running on the street, what's happening next door, like how we are voyeurs to that, and how we choose to engage with it, whether it's comical because it's like technically finding out that what is Bernie Mac's character, like a pastor?
He's a pastor.
Like a pastor is
At a
literally
church.
committing adultery with a married woman.
And trying
We
to
were praying.
Yeah.
and trying to smoke weed and trying to.
And like they find that comical, where like in the other prisms would be like, this is like the downfall of the fucking church and da 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 da. And it's like, but no, this is like
They're
this
just
is live
people.
television for
They're
us. It's like,
people.
all right, we're watching it. And then
Yeah.
like seeing the husband come home, it's like, all right. And then,
I mean, it still exists today,
Yeah.
and like I think there's more concern around moments like that now. But like, for example, the other day, I mean, this is a heavier subject. There was a accident outside my apartment, and I heard it, and it was a really bad one. And I was like, well, I just want to go make sure that if someone needs the police or the ambulance, I can call it. And I stepped outside, and there were already 30, 40 people on the corner just staring and watching. And I was like, well, this is good. People have this. I'm out. So it still exists now. It's just a different kind of thing.
Well, I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were there was an accident on the freeway, and they called people looky-loos. They're like, it's only slowing because of looky-loos.
Yeah.
is that what they call it? I mean,
Rubberneckers?
I heard rubberneckers. All my life. I've never heard
looky-loos. Yeah.
It's an older term.
Back in like the 60s with you?
When you were a boy.
Or,
When I was a young man.
from
When
the
you're
Midwest.
20s.
Another little part I love. It's a little thing, but like I just remember this feeling so vividly when she's like, all right, 8:30, and he goes 7:30, and I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
I
It
just
was
love
cute.
that.
It was
Any
super
extra
cute.
time I can get with you, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it.
Well,
I'm
that
gonna
to
wake
me-
up on a Saturday at 7:30 to come see
much
you.
like a film that we watched with our boy Jeff Nimoy that
Mhm.
he directed. It's like kind of that like there's a reason to wake up earlier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the cool thing that this the film's tackling with like what is your purpose as well. It's like what do you do on a day that you're not really supposed to be doing anything, much like a Clerk story, right? But then it's like once at the end of the day you kind of have like a purpose or something to wake up for, it's like you're willing to go earlier and do whatever you want because everything. And like it's funny because we've done the Big Lebowski now. Like I'm so super cognizant of every time they said damn and shit. And so I'm just like everything is in this film to the main characters is a grievance. Everything like, hey, can you go? Like, damn. It's like, hey, dad needs shit. And then it's like at every moment it's a shit or a damn. And because everything at that moment, and it's a hot day, it's like you're supposed to be day off doing nothing, but everything sucks. But then waking up early for someone that you've been wanting to like spend time with is not.
Mm.
And so there's like that kind of cool thing where it's like, they're underneath the exteriors of like language and, race, as well as like where you live, like people are people no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Favorite characters?
favorite characters. I mean, do we go with
Smokey, like
Yeah.
easy,
Smokey?
easy
I mean,
for me.
Smokey is by far.
The most entertaining. Well, maybe we go side then
I actually like Craig
for
better
sure.
than Smokey. Smokey
Come
was
on,
like,
Craig.
No, I just mean out of the two.
Very
It's probably gonna
entertaining.
be one of the two,
One of
right?
the two,
yeah.
So do we go side then also?
Okay, so how about you do your main and then you do your side?
Okay, so Smokey, and for me, it's a tie between. I just love Regina King.
Mm.
So Dana,
Of course,
probably.
Dana. She was hella
shout
annoying
out-
to me though.
Shout out to my wife.
The minute she's just like,
Um,
no.
And also, I think she
Oh,
was,
when he asked for the $200.
Yeah, that
No.
was my favorite thing.
I think she was portraying a psychopath too because she sleeps on her fist.
Does she?
Ew, what?
She sleeps like this.
Oh, she's
yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
like keep her
She's
hair
trying to wake up
nice.
and keep her. Yeah.
No.
Okay. I've definitely
She's
been
a
there
psychopath
when
in
my
his
alarm
eyes.
goes off and I like am sitting there. I'm like, if I just sit
Well,
up a little bit,
It's
I
like
can
in the
wake up.
morning he sees her that way, and it's like cool. Maybe she's waking up and just hanging out. But then like later on, it becomes nighttime, and then she's like that too. I was like,
No, she's trying not to sleep on her hair so it doesn't get messed up. Because the first thing she did when she was sitting like this and she like started to fall, she stopped and she was like straightening it out. Like, I hope I didn't
She's pretty much through the
Mess
whole
up
movie
anything.
dealing with her hair.
her hair. Yeah.
That's her whole mo.
that's her thing. That's her shtick.
But also, I mean, the dad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
someone in Craig's family is my second favorite. All three of them I think were just really wonderful, really distinct, and really added to that. Like I could see that as a real household. You know,
Yeah.
I've been in those households.
Yeah.
So
For me, it's Craig. just because like
Come on, Craig.
he's just doing his best.
Come on,
He's
Craig.
just trying so hard to like live up to.
He's the Eeyore as well as the Pooh at the same time.
Yeah.
Where Smokey is the Tigger as well as the Piglet.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, so much. So I really like Craig, and then Debbie,
Mhm.
because
Debbie.
like she like coming up into Deebo's face and be like, no,
Yeah.
no, I don't care if you punch me right now, and he did, but also
Slapped
she
her.
still
Open
did it.
hand slap.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not defending that at
Right.
all.
Well, just saying what it is.
Yeah, Corey,
Yeah.
jeez.
Just getting the facts right.
I'm just
Yeah, no,
saying
no.
if he had closed fist knocked her out, she would be on the ground.
Because we saw what happened when he closed fists.
Yes.
Red.
Bad.
Shout out to Red.
Yeah, yeah.
Flew
R.I.P.
40 feet.
Yes.
I want to give a shout
R.I.P.
out to the
Red's Craig.
crackhead.
Yeah.
Like,
What was his
Just
name?
Easel?
I couldn't find it.
I'll look
Tom
it up.
Help.
But I just love that he would just come into the scene every now and again. Like, he would see him, like, stealing the clothes off the lawn or whatever. And then, like,
Coming in the window when he's trying to
yeah.
go through the guy's
Who's the actor?
pants.
Is that Tiny?
No, Tiny is Deebo.
Oh,
Tiny's
Tiny's
Deebo.
Deebo.
Can you believe that? A guy named Tiny? His name
I
is
love it.
His name is
I
Tony
love
I just
Tiny.
remember him
I love
from
it.
I'll do what you should have done 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
And also as the president.
Yeah.
Also has a president in Idiocracy.
For me,
No,
it would
that's
be
No,
Terry
that's Terry
Crews.
Crews. That's the
I don't
other
He's a
know
black
president
guy.
in Fifth Element.
wow.
Holy.
Jesus.
It's the other
Um,
big buff black guy.
I would say Smokey out of the two, but Craig is very, very close. I just love watching Ice Cube too.
Yeah.
Both of them.
agreed.
Yeah, that's a hard decision between the two because they both. Anyway, side probably.
Deebo.
Deebo was
yes.
great.
He was.
Like terrifying, but great.
Yeah, it's Easel.
Easel.
Ezal. And I forget if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like Ezel or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He was just watching him take a shit the entire
Yeah.
time. And it's like, hey, I may not be the smartest
Okay.
guy, but
Oh
it
my
looks like you taking a shit.
That,
like-
that line.
And he's like, don't you tell nobody. He's like, oh, for sure. Hey, everyone, it's Smokey out here taking a shit. I ain't gonna tell no one else now. I was like, damn. But that's
Um,
how that's like the slippery deaf guy from Family Guy who's just like, God, you're just inconvenient here at this moment. It's just like irritatingly.
Yeah.
That's that character.
Can I talk now?
No.
Okay.
So my
Keep going.
Next person.
Gone.
Mine would probably be. It's really hard between the dad, Red, and Debbie. I like all three of them had like
That's a
things
pretty
that I really
solid
liked
Three-way tie.
for different reasons. Like
yeah.
Debbie is just a strong female,
Yeah.
and
I wonder who Ali's gonna like.
and the dad. I mean, he's just cool ass dad.
yeah.
He's trying to teach a lesson, and Red. I mean, he's just trying to get along with life. He's just trying to do the right
Yeah.
thing. The run with the arms, just
You know-
every time I see it, it
Little,
makes
like,
me laugh.
They're little like
I
S
ju-
shapes.
I do that myself, like jokingly, when I'm like,
Yeah.
no, and I swing my
Uh,
arms sillily.
You know what other line I realized is probably not looking back on time having like 9 to 10-year-old, 12-year-old white kids yelling this, but every time I was playing with Destin Tasty Money and we'd get hurt or something or whatever.
Don't say the N word.
No, we would say the N word loudly. No, we would say are you okay? I'd be like, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. I mean, $15,000, but we could sell it now for 20.
No,
Wow.
It's 20 or $2?
I think it's
Two.
20.
Okay, because
No,
he
20.
he asked
It's
everyone
20
for
in the
$2.
store, but he says it's $2 for him to
Everywhere.
Yeah, something else.
Say, hey man, I'll go wash your car. $2?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Ali?
For me, when I think of like why I would put it on, why I would watch Friday,
It's Smokey.
it's to watch Smokey. It's to watch
Mhm.
Chris Tucker, and so,
Improvise his way through a classic
it's
masterpiece.
perfect. So yeah, that's my pick.
Cool.
You have a
Solid.
side? You have a side character?
Side character,
Also Smokey.
It would be also Smokey. No, I actually like Ice Cube in this a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's one of his better. I want to say it's my favorite movie of his that I've seen him in.
So you're taking the Corey route and breaking the rules on favorite characters.
What did I do?
You
Supposed
used
to be a
two
main
main
and
characters.
Oh, sorry.
You- no,
I'm
it's
not
okay.
mad
You can
about
do- You can do whatever you want, Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Next.
would pick
No.
Debbie, but I just felt like she didn't impact. Like she wasn't as
Wasn't
much
strong
in
enough of
right.
a
She wasn't as
female.
strong
Wow.
enough. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry she didn't fit your agenda and the
Hey,
character's
Ali,
just by herself.
I think it's totally fine you pick two main characters.
Oh,
All right,
that
breakers
wasn't the
of
argument.
rules.
I just want you
Uh,
to say whatever your heart says.
That's
That's all I ever do. Speak from the heart.
Main character would have to be the black-owned liquor store owner.
Oh, the
Asian
the
dude.
Asian
Oh
guy.
my gosh.
But no,
I was gonna say, you know who's mopping in?
it's the director.
It's the director.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I knew that. Who do you think I is?
I'm talking to the audience.
No, but you look
I'm
straight in my
creating
eyes.
a conversation.
You look into my eyes.
Yeah, it's through
It's called a
conversation.
conversation,
It's
Tom.
meant to be
I hate it
natural.
when mom and dad fight.
You're supposed
Every
to pick up.
You never look at me
act with
during,
me.
but you look at me now.
I looked
Anyway,
at you during
your
the
main?
question.
So my main is actually it's probably Smokey. He's just most entertaining, even though the audience surrogate is Craig. Yeah. So Smokey is just the most fun to be around. And Craig just kind of feels like a wet blanket, and it's like you understand what he wants and what he like what's going through in his life, but Smokey is the one that kind of keeps the balance of what the film is. And then second character would have to be Pops.
Nice.
And then honorary mention is Easel for sure. Honorary mention is Easel for sure. Like you just can't go wrong with like the neighborhood nuisance.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that character who's
So
like
good.
also the kid on the bike.
And showing up at the most inopportune time.
Like
Doesn't he
I mean,
take
it just
doesn't he take Deebo's shoes at the end
I think
too?
it's just-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
Yes,
like,
he does.
hey, you can have your knife because I don't want it. I steal. I don't kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steal, not kill.
But like also, I love how Smokey hates everybody. Like he hates the angel dust guys, and he
Yeah.
also hates the kids on the bikes.
Hector?
Well,
Yeah.
everyone hates the kid on the bike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when I
Because
was
he
like,
knocks over the trash cans.
Yeah.
Everybody in the neighborhood. We had kids who did that in our neighborhood.
Oh my God.
Turns out it was my neighbor.
I-
Well, my dad
Wow.
caught him one day.
We almost had that, but it was more of the destroying mailboxes with the
Oh.
bats.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Jeez.
Also did that. They put firecrackers in the mailboxes.
Wow.
Butterfly effect,
Cool.
baby.
No.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Nice.
So we now move
Qualms?
to qualms.
Gripes?
I don't mind
Qualms only.
starting this out because mine are quick.
Yeah.
One's more of a personal thing. The toilet scene just for me just did not age.
Same.
You mean
It didn't age
him
well.
having to go poop?
No,
Or
the
It was
dad.
just the scene taking place within the restroom
Oh.
and then the sounds and whatnot. See, here's the thing. Toilet humor has a place,
That was
Um,
not it.
and that was not it. My only other qualm, and this is a stretch, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to admit, and it actually kind of goes against what kind of the movie is it took 50 minutes to get to the, quote, main conflict between Big Worm.
Mm.
Like, it was like there was no real conflict until it was like then, and then it was like, get my money or die.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I know that it unfolds and all that kind of stuff. That was my only, and again, it's a stretch, and it doesn't ruin my
Right,
experience.
because it's not the type of film it is.
It
No,
went from
it's not.
0 to 60.
I mean, the thing,
in
what
no
you're doing
time.
is you're almost commenting on a continuity thing. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's not quote unquote filmic, but it's like, yeah.
That's the only thing that I was like, nah.
And we are sticking to 2, so it's fine.
Yeah. Those are the only two I have.
I'll go. Because I don't have many either. The dad pooping was one of mine.
Nice.
I also didn't love the Smokey pooping around the corner bit
Oh.
either. It
Yeah.
just that one. And I write a lot of toilet humor in my puking. I think is one of the funniest things in the world to me. But
Well placed.
it just didn't. It didn't. I think it went on too. Both went on too long. I think that's it. Maybe it wasn't the actual scene itself, but both I could have been like
yeah.
30, 45 seconds shorter.
I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to refute the qualms, but I will say I will not say if it has or has not happened to me that exact thing with my father.
Okay, like
So,
it's happened
to
to
me,
me at beach parties. Like that's happened. Listen,
with Pops purely being like, I need to tell you this lecture thing.
Oh,
It's like,
that-
I don't
no,
need
that
to
has not
hear-
happened to
That has
me.
happened to me. Maybe not have happened to me. But I
it's happened to
understand
me,
it.
and that's probably why I don't. like, anyway,
so those two, and then my only like because neither of those take away from it. Again, like just my own personal preference, but the one that I think does for me just a little bit is we have this wonderful scene with the dad talking about
Dukes.
this is all you need.
Put up your
You,
dukes.
you may lose, you may win, but this makes you a man. Winning with your fists. And he technically wins by hitting him in the face with a brick. And I think it would have been a stronger story if, even though Deebo's fighting dirty,
he still fights.
he fights with his
He
fists.
fights with his fist.
So when
yeah.
every time he picks up the brick and throws it, I'm kind of like,
Picks it one time.
I mean, every time I watch
Every
it
time you watch
and
it,
it
yeah.
happens, I'm kind of just like, man, I think it
I was
just
gonna
would
say,
have
this
been.
guy would be dead if he threw it multiple times.
Yeah, well, he'd probably be dead if he threw it the one time,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just that, like, at that point, use the gun.
Might as
kind
well.
of thing.
Yeah, you're using a,
yeah.
you're using a weapon.
Because you're gonna make him a vegetable.
Yeah.
Essentially. So for me, that's my only qualm is I wish it was still like he got back up, I can do this all day kind of thing and beat him fair and
Mhm.
square.
I get that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Even if he was, he tackled him from behind or something. But it's the brick that kills it for me every time.
Mhm.
All
All right.
Just because it goes against what that
Galen?
scene does.
Kind of on that. like I did feel weird about it. It wasn't enough for me to be like, this is a qualm. So I guess it's kind of
The
like
brick?
a sort of qualm. Yeah. Like it just felt like the odds were so great that of course he was gonna have to improvise, but at least he wasn't like shooting to kill. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was still really, really dangerous.
Yeah,
But
he
like
threw a brick at his face.
right, but rather than putting a bullet through his head, which is like
Arguably-
definitely death.
Yeah, but maybe better. Otherwise, coma for the rest of your life, maybe.
Yeah, I know. But
It just for me, it wasn't even about that. It was more just it went against the moral that the
Right.
dad was
Yeah.
teaching him.
Right.
Is this is all you need?
Which is
and it's
kind
like,
of the message
well, it wasn't.
of
Wasn't.
He
Yeah.
still needed a brick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that didn't resonate with me as strongly.
Sure.
I mean, David needs a slingshot, baby.
Yeah, but he didn't have his dad first say, "This is all you need."
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
just
It
the
was a poignant.
army
It
of
was a
people.
poignant
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I honestly don't really have any qualms.
Okay.
Like
Nice.
the toilet stuff was like uncomfortable, but we had the same kind of thing. It's like, oh, you can't go inside. Oh, there's bushes. Like we had forests
Yeah.
and stuff, so it was
Must
like
be nice.
I don't know,
It is.
convenient. Convenient. It was.
I grew up in construction yard ish areas. So.
Oh, that
Mm.
sucks.
The only qualm that I really had, and for me, it's me and things that take me out of the movie. The only thing that really did for me was right after the drive-by, and then the neighbors came out or whatever. It felt like their reactions was as if they had heard one single loud noise,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
and as opposed to gunfire for what was it, 30 seconds of screen time or
like
something?
multiple,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
someone comes out
Pretty
and was like, "Was that a
lengthy.
gunshot?"
Of
Was
an
that a
automatic
shot?
weapon.
No,
they
I
say
think
it
the
was
mom
an
was like,
explosion.
yeah,
Oh.
the mom's like, it sounded like a bomb. I'm like, kind of bomb has freaking AK-47 fire for a minute.
Uzis.
So that was the only thing of I feel like a shootout of that caliber. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. I've been in LA in my life, and I
Of
feel
that
like
caliber of bullet.
of that caliber of how intense the shootout was.
Yeah.
And how
There were
long it went
multiple
on.
guns. Yeah.
Like there would be
Along
Cops there.
houses,
I don't know about that.
might not be cops
Only-
right away, but
only because
that
for me,
amount.
no, I will say only for me because 4th of July, I don't have any animals, but I can't sleep during those weeks because people just blow up fucking pretty very illegal fireworks.
Yeah.
And no cops show up ever. And I
right,
was
but that's
can
around
the
4th
cop-
of
Yeah,
July.
I was like,
so
can the cops show up, please? Because they shouldn't be blowing it here because they're doing it to the point where
You
they're
also-
breaking cars.
I get mistaking.
Also, to bear in mind, this neighborhood where it takes place, it's kind of like the police
But I mean,
have gone.
Oh, no,
to
like,
his
I know,
point
I
is
know.
even
To,
less against the police.
I
It's
know
more about the
about-
people coming up going, "What was that?"
Oh, yeah,
Clearly,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Gunshots
it's
for a minute and a
more
half.
like that was clearly gunfire. Every house on that block would have heard. Cops would have been.
They shot
Yeah,
at the
like,
houses.
There is a line. I get it. It's a rough neighborhood. Cops
Yeah.
don't always, whatever. But realistically, even that time, that amount of gunfire, there would have been cops.
Yeah, like there's 3 or 4 Uzis and some pistols
Yeah.
on a roof.
That's
and,
not
like-
just.
Yeah.
That's not your average gangbang. Whatever.
I get that.
So that's the only thing I was like. That's a bigger deal than it looked like.
For me, my only qualm is the unnecessary fourth wall break.
Oh, the staring at the camera.
It's unnecessary.
Which all
Smokies?
of them?
Both.
Okay.
They don't need it.
It happened like 3 times, I think.
I
The
actually-
it was
yeah.
twice. I think it's twice.
It's
No,
once
I
right
saw-
after.
Craig almost does it
one
too. I
for
think, right?
Craig.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I saw. So if you saw another one,
I saw another one.
What's the other one?
I
It
don't
was-
remember the time frame, but he does like turn and like stare at you.
well, no,
the
it's right after
camera.
he talks to Debbie and it's like 7:30 and she walks
No,
away.
no. Before that.
There was a before
Well, that's
that
the one
one.
I'm
I
thinking
just
about.
don't.
That one bothered me. The smoky one didn't simply because it's
Smokey.
To
right
me-
at the end of the movie too.
To me, the thing is like
But
I've
the Craig one fell out of place. I was
other
like,
there's
fourth
been
wall?
Spike Lee films that break the fourth wall, and I think they just do it a little better, and they're for a reason. For this is more like we know the audience is there. It's like cool,
But here's the other thing on that, and I completely get that because it happened before when you're talking, and I even paused it and went, did they just break the fourth wall like 70 minutes into the movie or something like that? Or it was well into the movie, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah.
So it was
To me, it almost felt like they used.
I agree with that. I think if they had only done the smoky one, it wouldn't have felt too out of place because it's end of the movie. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
button on the film, like
right. But since it
It
happens
felt
another
like
time at least,
Porky
Especially when one time you're like, was that a fourth? Like you're not
Yeah.
like they don't fully
Yeah.
commit
the
to
Craig
breaking
one was
it.
I was like, I had to rewind
Yeah,
it.
the smoky one feels like Porky the Pig. Blah, 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 that's all, folks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the other one felt just like, did you guys just not have another take?
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. Like, I don't
like
get
they
what
u-
that's
yeah, I
supposed
get
to
what you're
mean.
saying.
Like, instead put some like
sexy porno music on instead. You could have done that just as well versus like
Or not, or leave the truth of the moment of the 7:30
you could.
in there.
I mean, the thing is like, what does a fourth wall break do other than
Yeah.
being like tongue in cheek, like, hey, but like when other filmmakers have done it, they use it for effect of like,
And it's a part of the style of the film too.
well, like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So it's like, Corey, you fucking praise the gospel of Fleabag. I'll talk about
Oh,
House
yeah.
of Cards. I'll talk about, other things. So like with Spike Lee films, they break the fourth wall when it's like, wake up now. He's like talking to the audience, like, fucking get woke now. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, but this never demanded me to be like, so check out that girl at 7:30. It's
The,
like, I don't, why? That's not for me.
yeah.
The gospel of Fleabag, I will preach
Yeah.
that as well.
So I
So-
think that's the best fourth wall breaking I've seen in media is Fleabag for me.
And then for the Marvel folk, the Deadpool shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so for me, that just kind of like, I don't know why. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Nice.
Ratings.
rating.
Josh.
It's me, really?
Oh, Josh.
It's Josh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no one votes for you, baby.
Let's write it down. Everyone
This
write
is,
your number
a
down.
a
Everyone write
60
your
to
number down.
75
I do
minute
write
show,
it
Joe.
down, but your guys' conversation is really nice. I'm gonna say 4.5.
Ooh.
4.5 for Josh.
Next it's me. 4.3.
4.3 for Corey. Me and Caitlin. Go, Caitlin.
4.7.
4.7 for
And
Caitlin.
no one was surprised.
Nope.
Tom,
I think I'm last, right?
3.9.
3.9. Ali?
3.9.
Mine's 4.7.
So Tom,
Jesus
Nerd on Nation got it
criminy.
right.
Yay!
The thing is,
Way to go,
so
Nerd
with
on Nation.
this, it's not like there's a lot of inherently wrong things, but I don't look back and being like, oh, the filmmaking is so phenomenal. This film, right?
But it's not. You don't have to be. You can still
No,
enjoy it for other reasons.
Exactly. And so
Yeah, it
to
was
me, it's like
great.
it's still very enjoyable, but I'm kind of like, again, that little Usher level is kind of like, I know what it took to make this, and it's really, blah, blah. And I'll say this, there's more films that have been made that I have not made. So where am
So
I
we'll
to judge about it?
Give our shout outs to our Nerd on Nation members, Jared W. and Jackie.
You guys are the guests at Grumper Gasser Gator.
Nope. Turn him off.
Good
You nailed it.
job.
Turn off his microphone.
Jackie's got your number.
Yeah,
Dude,
she does.
I think that's 2 weeks in a
She
row now.
got it. She's killing it.
But dope, y'all. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you thought of Friday.
Bye.
Your numbers, who you thought the grump was going to be. Reach out to us on social media or
Just send
even
us a
email.
message. Just be like, I'm not wearing hockey
Oh
pads.
my God.
Yeah, anything.
And that's, I love it. Thank you.
Such a
Very well
But,
played.
Late game insert.
If I can, slight PSA. I implore everyone at home to be watching a film written or that has a like a black cast or written by black writers and like with black directors and stuff like that.
Just so you understand where the filmmaking genre is going with
Mhm.
it. So I like this was to me like we got to talk about Friday. So
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, everybody at home, again, thank you so much for listening. If you are new to Nerd On, please check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all the information of everything that we do and all the outbound links to what we do, social media, YouTube, all that good stuff. But yeah, reach out to us on social media. Share us with your friends, your family. Do consider supporting us via the Nerd On Nation. It does help us to be the best that we can be and to get better.
Smash
Um,
that like button.
Exactly. But yeah, that's it. We love you. You know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.